Picture this. You wake up, grab your coffee, look out your window, and you see your neighbor just casually driving their car right down the edge of your property. And they do this every single day. So are they trespassing? Or do they actually have a legal right to treat your lawn like a highway? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking a massive, heavily tested topic for real estate exam prep, easements. We're going to break down non-possessory interests, compare easement appurtenant with easement in gross, and really make sure you walk away with crystal clear retention.
Now, real quick before we dive in, let's just set our boundaries. This explainer is strictly for educational exam prep support. We don't guarantee specific exam questions, passing results, or licensing outcomes. Licensing rules, terminology, and exam emphasis can totally vary depending on where you live, so always remember to check your state's official licensing requirements and your approved study materials.
Okay, let's get into it. Here's our agenda for today. 1. What is an easement? 2. The two main easement types. 3. Some examples and a handy memory trick. And 4. A practice question and answer.
Starting off with Section 1, what is an easement? We're going to demystify the core concept right now. So, at its core, an easement gives someone a limited right to use property that they do not own for a specific purpose. I really want you to notice the key words here: right to use and do not own. If you have an easement on your neighbor's land, you absolutely do not own that strip of land. You simply have a legally recognized permission to use it for one very specific thing.
And that concept builds right into an incredibly important piece of vocabulary, a non-possessory interest. Let's just break that word down for a second. Non-possessory. It literally means the easement holder has a right to use the property for a limited purpose, but they absolutely do not own or possess the property itself. Whenever you see the phrase non-possessory interest on your test, I want you to immediately think of someone using land without actually holding the title to it.
Listen, if there's one major trap I see students fall into time and time again, it's exactly this. Students constantly confuse easements with ownership. Let me say it again. An easement is a right to use, not a right to own. It is so easy to read a tricky exam scenario about someone building a driveway across someone else's land and just assume ownership has changed hands. No way. We have to ruthlessly separate use from ownership. Burn this distinction into your memory.
Moving right along to Section 2, the two main easement types, appurtenant versus in gross.
Let's contrast these two huge concepts. First up, the easement appurtenant. This type involves two separate pieces of land. It benefits one parcel and it burdens another. The absolute key thing to remember here is that an easement appurtenant usually transfers right along with the land. So if the property is sold, the easement stays intact. Then, on the flip side, we have the easement in gross. This one doesn't benefit another piece of land at all. Instead, it benefits a specific person or a company. The most common example of this is a utility easement. Think about it. The power company doesn't own the lot next to yours, right? But they still have an easement in gross to run wires right across your backyard.
All right, Section 3, examples and a memory trick. Let's really lock this in.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, you've got your classic driveway easement, where a neighbor has the legal right to use part of your driveway just to get to their house. We have the utility easement we just talked about, for power or water lines, or for them to come dig up your prized petunias. Then there are access easements, shared road easements, and drainage easements. And you know what? Every single one of these follows our golden rule. They allow specific use, but they do not grant ownership of the underlying dirt. Recognizing these patterns is absolutely going to help your brain instantly categorize a scenario on test day. Okay, I promised you a memory trick, and here it is. It's simple but incredibly effective. Easement equals easy access or use, but not ownership. Just look at the first few letters of the word. E-A-S-E. Easement. Easy access. Whenever you're reading the word easement in a textbook or sitting there taking your test, I want you to immediately say to yourself, easy access, not ownership. This is your absolute core takeaway for today. Lock it firmly into your memory bank.
Time for Section 4, practice question and answer. Let's test your knowledge.
Okay, here's your question. What does an easement usually give someone? Is it A, full ownership of the land? B, a right to use another person's land for a specific purpose? C, a mortgage on the land? Or D, a tax claim against the land? Take a second and lock in your answer right now based on everything we've just covered.
And the correct answer is B. An easement gives someone a right to use another person's land for a specific purpose. Like we've been saying, it's a limited right to use property owned by someone else without having full ownership. Now, if you picked A, remember the trap we discussed? We are dealing purely with non-possessory interest here. It is all about the use, not possession or ownership.
Which brings us to the final thought of today's explainer. If an easement doesn't give you ownership, what other non-possessory interests might be hiding in your specific state's real estate laws? Could there be, licenses or profit rights you need to be aware of? Let that question spark your curiosity the next time you open up your official study materials. Because remember, mastering these foundational concepts is exactly how you build real confidence. Keep reviewing your state-specific guidelines, keep leaning into the structure, and keep learning. We'll catch you next time.